Alright.
Oh yeah, we stream this now. I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
just as I go live, thanks. Right, I can't edit that out either. Well, welcome to Eternal Lies, folks. Although there's currently no one here because I just started it, but yeah, some people watch this and record.
We're folks.
Yeah, you're folks, yeah. You've been here for a while, it's fine. Anyway.
Folks.
So. Yes.
We have
last week you
Malta.
Yep, you finished off Malta. Some people survived. All of you survived. Yeah. Good start.
Miracle.
And you decided to head off to Ethiopia, so you've just been catching up in Egypt as a little stop off. You know,
Yes.
having a look at the Sphinx, trying not to look like it's horrific.
It doesn't have any teeth. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. You really have to watch that. Anyway.
It's true.
About
It
the
barely even
pharaohs.
got a mouth.
One of the best statues I've seen in a good long time.
Yeah. So, after that, it is time to head off to wonderful, sunny Ethiopia. So, you do have something that's going to be useful to you here. You have George Eyre's itinerary from when he set off.
He was the missing scientist, wasn't
He was admitted, yes. Just seeing if there's actually a physical copy of that. I don't think there is.
You'd think they'd give you things like that.
No. But yeah, you've basically got. Let's see, just making sure.
Oh, we had
It
like
just
we
says-
had 2
yeah.
points, right?
Yeah, you've got 2 build points. So yeah, it just says it's a lead into this act, which is fine.
Oh yeah, build points. That thing I still haven't spent since the last time we got to.
So you have 4 now.
I spent a point in writing, and I picked up some oral history. On account of having been in safari in Africa before.
I forget, you can only spend build points on general, or can you...
No, anything.
I think it's anything except sanity and health and stability, but
Yeah.
check me on that.
Sorry, yeah, no, that's right.
Anything but point stats.
Yeah.
I know it's not sanity. I think it might not be stability, and I'm not sure about
Definitely not those 2 either, you're right.
it. Okay.
I
So,
put a couple points into occult for some reason. I'm an idiot.
so
Definitely do that.
you know that the best place. He arrived in the port of Nassau. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Nassau, like the Bahamas.
Nassau?
Well, Masterwa maybe, but
Masua. Yeah.
this is guesswork.
Anyway, that is where he is reported to have made port.
Massawa, apparently.
So that is the only real kind of that's where the trail will go cold, so to speak.
Does he seem to have do we have an image of this man?
No.
And also this trip we made was probably like what how many months ago?
Decade.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
That's a
120
cold
months
trail.
ago. So you're in sunny Ethiopia. We're flying in, right?
Yeah.
I hope so. It's a
Flying
bit
in
far to
from
drive, and I
Ethiopia.
don't have a boat.
So
You
you're
don't
coming.
have a boat?
He does. Well, he has a yacht, not a boat. They're completely different things.
I'm scared to ask what the difference is.
I traded it for my third airplane,
Size.
obviously.
Hmm.
I mean, there's the family boat, but I can't use that for personal business.
All right. So you start You land in the airport. Taxi up to a stop, leap off, and are immediately greeted by the army. Because welcome to 1930s Ethiopia. The Italians are invading.
Yes, I am. Dang it.
Oh dear.
And this is the part where we make sure you have a fake ID.
I'm
Sounds
choosing
like
you.
preparedness.
We're gonna need you to sound French for a second.
Why? This
I
is
can do a bad American accent.
this is the Italian held area. So you actually want him to be Italian.
Okay.
Yeah, the soldiers coming up to you are Italian. Peacock hats and everything.
If I remember correctly, what's his face?
I stopped suppressing the need to gesture wildly while speaking.
No, you stop that.
I'm Italian. They're Italian. It's important.
something. Is Fortunato Italian? American Italian? I'm wondering.
Don't know.
I'll just say yes.
Pretty sure he was. But it is a fake identity, so who knows?
Tag skills is 2 for 1, right?
Yep. That's why I have 2 points in writing for 1 point of spend.
Yeah. So
Sorry, I'm still trying to figure out how to spend my points.
yeah.
I keep forgetting to do them away from sessions.
So the airfield has been fortified. Most of it is pointing outwards, however, rather than inwards.
Sure.
They're not really expecting people. They're expecting people to attack the airfield rather than the airfield. Yeah,
Ray, is there a spend for having sent a telegram to let them know we're coming?
that would be preparedness.
I will spend.
Yeah, just
No,
1 point.
That's a roll, though. I thought preparedness was a roll.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh, it is a roll. I will spend
I
2
always
then.
think it's a general one for some reason.
It is a general.
Interpersonal, sorry. Alright. Try to send your telegram. Yeah? That will make it on time?
I make sure to CC it to one of my friends in the military so he can make sure it arrives before we do.
Excellent. So, coming towards you is a customs official. We all know how well these guys do.
Oh no. Are we going to have a thing where they're going to take our guns away? Our guns, our explosives, our madmen, where
They can't take your madman away.
I'm
That's
pretty
gonna
sure
say.
that as a member of the Italian aristocracy, I hold a honorary rank in the military. I have not checked on this.
It's fascist. So, possibly not. I don't actually know how the Italians worked it.
I can look it up, I suppose.
Anyway,
I'm referring to the guy who is Italian American when dealing with Italians.
Oh yeah,
Weirdly
well,
enough.
Mussolini's in power, isn't he?
yeah.
Yes.
I always forget that the fascists in World War II were in power before World War II.
Yeah, it didn't just spring into power and start World War II. That would bring some quick working. Anyway,
Access to the Hearts of Iron dev console.
the guy approaching you has his clipboard. He's smiling, but he's smiling one of those smiles where he doesn't show any teeth. It's just like he's,
I find this comforting.
he's kind of looking at your plane, and he will start in halting English. Visas, please.
And I will respond in Italian.
And he will visibly relax at that. A countryman, excellent. First thing first, I am going to have to search the plane and check all your passports. As you may know, we are having a slight issue in the area, and we don't want anyone attempting to supply the opposing forces. So this is all purely kind of, functionally, but you know we have to go by the numbers.
It's a good thing America isn't actively antagonizing Italia?
Yes.
Italy at this
Italy.
point. Hasn't been called Italia in
Millennia.
I don't even think those back before.
Okay, so
Rome.
passports, please.
We all, of course, have passports.
I'll produce my passport.
Passports.
Hmm.
Passport.
As he's flicking through them and kind of looking at you and stuff like that, it's like, reading for visiting Ethiopia. I assume it must be a good one to go into a war zone.
We should have come up with a reason to be visiting Ethiopia.
I'm
We're
assuming
here
you
to
did it
rescue a
beforehand.
professor who is important to my cousin.
Oh, professors.
He went missing here roughly 10 years ago. I am hoping that the recent unpleasantness has caused him to become more accessible.
Seems like you have an interesting journey. And yeah, he won't find anything amiss about any of your paperwork. Because,
Hmm.
you're not actually massively wanted criminals. For once.
Yet.
Not yet. Oh, wait, no, wait, no.
For once.
Not on this side of the globe anyway.
No.
Not as long as I still have I almost called it profit factor to spend.
Credit rating.
Credit
Credit
rating. Profit factor works just as well.
Gray, if we find a 40k warship, I am going to commandeer it in the name of the Emperor of Italy.
Mussolini. No, the king of Italy was actually still in power. He was just a massive figurehead.
So he was in power, but he wasn't in power.
No, he was a figurehead, and they managed to actually use him to remove Mussolini. Anyway.
That's the way it goes.
Okay, yes, these seem to be in order. So I will need to start by searching your plane.
Of course. We do have small arms on board, but nothing that would be of interest to the army.
Okay.
Yes.
We do have some delicate papers that really shouldn't be disturbed. They're quite old.
If you could just show me where they were, if you can just open the case and show me them, that'd be fine. I don't need to touch anything.
Okay. I go to the papers and prepare them so some of the less disturbing ones are at the top of the pile.
Yeah.
Just checking. We got rid of the bomb, right?
We threw it out at the
Yes, we got
airplane.
rid of the bomb.
Okay.
I think
It
we got rid
is-
of the second bomb as well.
Whatever's left of those bombs is in the Met right now. Probably fairly close to Italy, actually.
Yes.
A couple of fish will have been blown to bits, but it wasn't us, and that's the important bit.
You'll be fine until you meet.
High enough that they probably exploded in the air.
Yeah. Until you meet the deep ones who've got a grudge because you killed their wife.
We did
Yeah.
not set that bomb, sir.
Uh.
Nor did we request it. We attempted to return it to the people who gave it to us,
So,
and we
yeah.
will happily provide you their address.
So you've brought no explosives, just a few small arms.
Self-defense purposes.
Yeah.
It's the 30s, no one cares.
Yeah.
Hell, the fact that we're going into an active war zone probably makes the guns even more justified.
I mean,
Okay. Just to let you know that your travel will be restricted. As this is an active war zone, we cannot have even countrymen just wandering around. So please remain inside the main cities and towns and report to the commandant whenever entering a new area. I will file your paperwork for today. But
thank
yes,
you. Much appreciated.
generally, unless you have, travel papers, it is best just to remain in Messina. Masura. We'll go with Masura. Alright, and then he'll kind of just wander off. unless you kind of spot the hint amongst that.
We go and acquire the fabled hotel room.
No, I missed the hint completely.
Yeah, you'll need travel papers, official travel papers.
Right. Of course, official travel papers.
He's dropping a subtle hint.
I do not have a bureaucracy.
I think he's rubbing his fingers together. And
You are lucky, however, that it's reassurance, bureaucracy, or language Italian.
I have reassurance.
And you probably have language Italian.
Yeah.
I don't have language.
How the fuck do you...
As a skill.
Do you not speak Italian?
I speak Italian, but I don't have it as a skill.
We don't have.
So that means that technically you don't actually speak Italian.
No, technically I don't actually speak English.
Oh, that's what Bruce is doing. He's interpreting.
Right. You're great.
And
which is why I don't have it as a skill. Where the heck is it on here? I don't see language at all.
Language is, if you go to the academic tab, it's between history and...
Okay. Yeah, I don't have that.
I don't actually have language as a skill in my sheet.
Yeah, you have to add it yourself.
Yeah.
It is not on here.
You have to add it.
All of a sudden, 2 build points slurp over to languages.
I guess I know what I'm picking up next.
Language Italian, so you can actually speak your mother tongue.
No, language English.
Oh, true, yes. You always know
taking
your
lessons from Bruce.
Bruce.
Oh, I did love the retcon that it's basically Bruce has been translating me all this time.
Bruce, and
So
therefore...
wait, does that mean that all of his bullshit is him, or is that just Bruce being a dick?
We'll never know.
Yeah.
We'll have to find out next episode.
Yeah.
Not next session, next episode after we get build points.
So who's spending for the papers then? And because
I can spend reassurance.
Presumably the guy who can actually talk.
I can spend reassurance.
It's not actually a spend.
Okay.
If you're Italian, it's a spend if you have reassurance of bureaucracy. But if you're Italian, apparently it'll just give you travel papers.
Cool.
Yeah, that sounds about right, honestly.
Yeah. One of us.
One of us. Lucky son.
Yep.
Right, so, Masawa, now that we're here, yeah, we do actually need to get a room sorted out, even with papers.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this Prof's itinerary, did it mention any of the other major cities, or was he local to Masawa?
It just said that's where he was docking before heading onto the deeper sites. There was a couple of other places mentioned. The site is around Dalal.
Site is around?
Dalal.
Okay.
Dalal.
I'm guessing we could speak with, say, the Italian locals and just sort of work out how far away a drive is that. Because I'm thinking it'd probably be easier if we got our own car and just drove out there rather than trying to
drive
shilly-shally with the
at least
locals.
in this trip across the we don't have to worry about any enemy stands.
Yes, I can safely say that JoJo Cthulhu is not a crossover that has occurred yet, nor should it ever.
Are you sure that
Unfortunately,
hasn't
someone
happened
has just given the DM ideas.
yet? I'm genuinely kind of surprised that hasn't happened yet.
JoJo Cthulhu.
Well, as long as we keep giving him ideas, he won't be able to use all of them. At least as long as they're different ideas.
Well, that's... yes.
Alright, so as you find yourself a nice hotel, you know, falling bellboys and stuff like that. Yeah.
Basically much the same as we got in Egypt, just
Yes.
slightly lower.
Slightly lower, slightly more sandbagged.
Mm-hmm.
Technically higher because of the way the Nile works, but
Yeah. Masura is a regional hub of commerce. It's, you know, also the Italian staging point for the invasion, so there are a lot of troops here. A lot of the hotels are taken up, but of course the troops don't. The soldiers get barracked and the officers have taken over the really good hotels.
Mm-hmm.
But you can find a room in one of the mid-range hotels.
We can find a hostelry.
Yeah. No, it's not that low down.
we can find somewhere that probably has running water.
That's pretty good.
Alright, so
I'll take it.
you going to spend the night here first before you start doing your search?
I would suggest so, given we just flew in.
Yeah, honestly, that depends. What time is it?
Probably by the time you've got yourself settled, it'll probably be past midday.
Can I roll a sense?
Ooh.
Here's a question, Craig. Can I wear a sense trouble check?
Yes, you can sense
Get
trouble.
that? Okay. Because
Without a spend even?
no, it's not a spin. It's a general check.
General check.
The joke.
We are in a war zone.
There we go.
Yep. Then nobody's following. No one's watching. Well, that's a lie. There are lots of people watching, but they're all trying to figure out how to take your money.
Exactly as expected.
Yep.
Fire
We
up
have-
streetlight.
Yes, fire up the. So, Gray. Streets are streets everywhere. Would it take a streetwise spin to find a hotel that will not rob us in the middle of the night?
No.
No. Okay.
You're in a decent hotel. It's not profitable to rob visitors in your hotel because then they can't get cash out later and you can't spend it in your hotel.
It's doubly not profitable to rob a member of a foreign nobility who's occupying your country.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
All right. So you spend the evening. I'll say by the time you actually got yourself sorted and set up, it's too late in the day to do anything proper, and you'll spend the evening in the bar.
Yay! Smoking and drinking like proper 30s should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to have a bar room that's so thick with smoke you can't see in it.
And as you're in the bar, you're kind of wandering around, and you get talking with some of the other people because you're not asocial idiots. And one of the guys begins talking about how he's here to help with the shipping of a akuna, which is a person, not a thing. So akuna is a name that you do actually recognise. It is mentioned in Ayre's logs as somebody he worked with.
Interesting.
Someone's not an organization. That's not an organization. That's a.
Alright, so this will
Individual.
get more info. This will be a 2-point oral history spend.
I have 1.
You have 1 point. So
Where deploy the general.
Yeah. Well, Arbitus has 2 points, so he gets talking with the guy in French, probably.
yeah.
Deploy the author.
Yeah. Yeah. So, apparently he's a Spaniard who apparently worked here years ago, left, came back when it kind of heated up a bit in Spain, and is now working for the Italians shipping artifacts back to Rome. Cultural looting, of course.
Well, this belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
Not your museum, our museum.
Look, this is a war zone. It isn't safe here.
We must, protect, and all the good stuff probably will end up in somebody's personal collection, I'm sure.
Well, it sounds like this foreigner has a fascinating insight into local history. Perhaps we should talk to him. How would I go about meeting this fine fellow?
Oh, he was last seen in the Hotel Internationale. See, the way that's written, it's got a Nazi in the middle.
Okay.
No, it's written like that.
Well, yeah, because that's how they say international in Italian, I think.
Yeah.
International.
Yeah, okay.
International.
International. That's
I
the
mean,
Italian word.
maybe they're just trying to go branding off the hot new craze.
Anyway. But yeah, apart from that, it doesn't really know much else.
Well then, do we
But
just
general chatting will also bring up a general kind of knowledge of the area. The people are travelling, they like to talk. And you'll kind of slip in like bits of your own interest.
Here we go. There's Yemen. There's the Red Sea. There's Ethiopia. So,
And where is the major fighting taking place on this map?
Along the Ethiopian border.
so basically, where we are in which city are we in?
You're in Masura at the port. And, yeah, further south. So, Ethiopia is the Italian-held area, and they are moving deeper into Ethiopia. The fighting is kind of south of that southern border.
And we want to get Dalal, which is past the front, apparently.
You learn of Mersa Fatma, which is a port further down, which is considered the next logical stone to Dalal. People say that probably the best way down that way is using the Compagnia Mineral Canal Railway, the CMC. They've been mining salt from that area since the 20s, and they have their own rail line that runs pretty much nearby.
So we get to Mersa Fatma, we steal a rail car, we drive at full speed past the lines, and then hope we don't get blown up.
The fighting's further south than that. Yeah, you're not going to be running up to the battleground, but there are troop movements.
I mean,
Theoretically, a boat ride from Massawa to Mersa Fatma, and then a train from Mersa Fatma to Dalal might at least work in theory.
I have a dumb question. Like, from what we've seen in the mouths, they eat generally people and stuff like that as sacrifices, right? We're not going to say that that the cult is set up essentially a little fun at a hospital somewhere where they're just funneling people off into a mall, right? Sounds like the kind of thing that happens in Cthulhu wartime.
Well, maybe, but the examples we've seen, it did seem they did need to kind of be prepared first and like happy and like being indulgent, not like being wounded people barely conscious.
Plus, there's at least an element of stealth involved, and it's a lot harder, I'm assuming, to hide a bunch of frickin' Moors underneath the hospital than it would be a warehouse.
I'm just thinking, but I'm just thinking. I mean, this place must have been like this place should have been set up way before the war started up, so. I'm just thinking aloud. Anyway, so where are we going to next?
Well, we're gonna spend the night and then probably check out the Hotel Internazi.
Internacional?
International, yeah.
Internationale.
Check out our friendly archaeologist, and then after that, unless there's any major surprises, I suggest we head on down to Mersa Fatma and then on to Dalal.
All right.
Also, Dalal is a fantastic word to say.
So, yep, night passes. You don't sleep well. It's hot. Oh God, is it hot?
Is he like? Oh yeah, AC has not been invented yet.
Yes.
Ooh.
You have a fan that basically just blows the hot air over you.
I mean,
I have
that's better than
outdoorsman.
nothing.
Can I make a
think it's
spend
more
to
the
sleep
humidity.
comfortably?
Can you want to sleep comfortably, son?
Can I spend outdoorsman to sleep comfortably?
Possibly.
This is hot. You should see what it's like further south.
Yeah. It's not gonna. There's no penalty at this point. I'm just.
Right.
Yeah. It is hot.
Yeah.
There's a reason why they had why fountains were more prevalent around here. It was basically giant outdoor swamp coolers.
You'd think we'd be getting a decent breeze from the Red Sea, but
It's hot.
Isn't the Red Sea Salt Sea as well?
That's the Dead Sea.
Ah.
Well, the sea is connected to the ocean, so yes, it is salty.
All
Alright.
right.
Can't sleep.
Going
Hot.
to Ethiopia in July.
Also, technically, it's part of the Indian Ocean.
All right. You're all currently on heat 0.
Oh god, there's actually a...
There's actually a heat tracker.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We're working with so there's a heat tracker here, but not in Barcelona.
Temperature, not police investigation.
Yeah.
We're in East Africa. Shit's going to be hot.
Yeah. Physical heat tracker, not like stars over your head heat tracker.
Okay, there we go.
I mean,
So,
we should probably have one of those as well, but...
We can't see
Wow.
it.
I think it's more the fact that we're trying to make sure that we don't fucking die of heat exhaustion because we're going into a desert. Are we going into a desert, Gray?
Yes.
Oh, we're gonna fucking die.
Well, we can go to the local market, maybe get some turbans and some water skins.
Maybe hire a helpful guide.
Guide would probably be quite useful, yes.
At least once we get off the boat and the train.
Yeah.
Probably want to hire him before the train, though.
All right. So, you travel to Mesa Fatma. Actually, no, you're staying here, aren't you? Yes. Sorry.
We're
Let's not
talking
move in.
about the hotel.
Yeah. All right. So the Hotel Internationale is a fairly bog standard hotel. It's actually the largest in the city. But it's not the poshest. So that's the way to put it.
Bulk, not
Yeah.
quantity, not quality.
Yeah, it's pretty much exclusively Europeans and wealthy locals. And you walk in, and of course, there's a concierge will approach you. May I help you, gentlemen? I'm not trying any accents, by the way, because that'll just come off as racist.
What does an Ethiopian accent even sound like?
I have no idea.
Worse, they'd be horrible. That's why we banned discard from them today.
I don't feel like having accents right now either. I'm tired.
Yeah.
Good man.
Yay! Keep this god tired.
So, yeah, we figured out how to stop him from doing that.
Okay, so yes, the concierge is kind of looking at you. Yeah, group of people walking in. I'm afraid we are fully booked at this time.
I'm still the guy who actually speaks the local language because I'm guessing it is in English.
No, Italian or Arabic.
I have one of those.
I have neither.
I'm kind of glad you have an Italian at this stage, by the way.
Yeah,
that-
actually.
Otherwise, this would be very difficult.
Yes, basically
I just do love the idea of a bunch of American fucking itinerant investigators roll up to Ethiopia with their cowboy hats and guns, and you're like, "No, you speak English?"
So the actual mechanical effects are: if you don't speak the language, you have to spend 1 before you can use any interpersonal ability.
Been one what?
Points. So basically, it's a 1 point spend on any interpersonal ability if you don't speak the language.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof, indeed.
So having somebody who can speak Italian is going to be very helpful.
Someone uses a build point to put it to bring out the Italo-English dictionary, translational dictionary.
All right. So how are you dealing with the concierge?
We rub Gatto on it because he can speak Italian.
Unhand me, you ruffian.
Sir?
That's the nicest thing it's been called in years.
Right, we're looking for... Oh, what was his name again? I don't have it written down.
George Ayres.
heirs.
No.
Something like that.
Bartolo Acuna.
Oh, we're looking for Acuna now?
Yeah.
The guy, this is the archaeologist who knows the other chap.
He's the guy who worked with him.
Right. We're looking for heirs, but we've heard a gentleman named Arkuma can provide information on where he's located.
Oh, I am afraid that I'm not at liberty to give out information about guests. Vests? He's definitely not supposed to be talking about vests. Guests.
Apply credit rating to this. Apply credit rating to this man. No concierge is not. There's no such thing as an unbribable concierge.
You're not wrong. However, first, I'm going to ask if he would take a message. If such person would happen to be staying at this establishment.
Right. Just checking. Oh, you do actually have Streetwise.
I do have Streetwise, yes.
No, you're not in this. You cannot talk to it. Oh no, Gato does not have.
I don't have Streetwise.
But
I have reassurance.
You said if I to use an interpersonal skill, I would make it an extra point spell.
Yes,
So how much points
yeah.
would it take
Yeah.
to elbow my way and say "Allo Spagnola, man, my friend." Just with Streetwise.
Well, there goes the no accents thing.
That wasn't an accent. That was bad Italian.
Yes. Where I start
was
my
Spanish,
spell
yeah.
speaking.
Which
I
makes
start
it even worse Italian.
I start speaking English by big Italian as gestures.
Well, thankfully, after the point spend, one of the gestures is holding out some cash.
All right.
Which isn't a kind of.
How many Streetwise does that cost me, Gray?
It's not a spend. This is a core clue thing, so it does make you spend for that.
Well, I mean, the thing is that would I still make a spend since I don't speak Italian?
Yes, you have to, because you don't speak Italian. You have to spend a point.
Okay, so I'm down to 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
So as I know of Glancy and the people who do Belgrade, of course you can bribe the fucking concierge.
Yeah. All right. Right. So he'll take the money. I'm assuming I shall deal with you, as your friend seems to be. I won't say imbecile. I'll just say foreign.
Quite.
I'm sure that I can pass a message up to Mr. Acuna. It may take a little while. I'm not sure if he's in the building or if he even is here at all. He says, covering himself. So he would kind of disappear.
My God!
Or I could ask him where the bar was.
The bar is blatantly obvious. It's literally in the same foyer.
I will go get myself a tonic. I'll go get myself a gin and gin.
Yeah.
That won't help you against the malaria.
I mean, it'll help me.
July.
It'll help me against forgetting the freaking heat.
Drinks enough gin, he might suddenly learn how to speak Italian without waving money.
Is malaria even going to be an issue here? I genuinely don't know.
Don't know enough about malaria.
I thought
No.
malaria is more of a South America, Africa thing.
We're in Africa.
You're in Africa.
Oh.
Thanks for showing the stereotypical American knowledge of geography there.
Can I ask the question to you, Gray? How much alcohol will I need to consume to stop being in Africa, or at least stop carrying them in Africa?
That's a 2-point credit rating spend.
And
Malaria is actually an issue here, yes.
yes. Alright, so the guy will return after a couple of drinks, and you feel like he's made sure you've had a couple of drinks before he comes back. You feel like he's seen you go to the bar and he's making sure to get a bit of cash out of you before he brings any information. I'm afraid that Mr. Acuna is not in residence at this time. We do have a forwarding address. He has been headed south with a military unit to Adua.
Yeah. There we go. So we're over here. So it's a little bit across the line here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need to go to Adua next, I guess.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm presuming.
Do we?
Yeah.
Is it we to rent? Is it we need to rent camels, or do we just do cars here?
Well, they have nationalised all motorised transport.
Expect
So camels then.
Camels.
Okay.
Taking the airplane is also not advised, as strange airplanes in a war zone tend to be shot down.
I've always wanted to get shot down. Yeah.
I mean, it is painted in Italian colors, but I know we were going into a war zone, but
Let's make our
There are
merry
two
way,
sides.
gentlemen. We must now, as we do, as they say, walk like the Egyptians.
Not in Egypt anymore. That was
Left Egypt 3 days ago.
Okay, we
Americans.
walk like the not the Ethiopians, the Etrians.
Ryan's.
Etrians, yes,
They're still Ethiopians. They're just Ethiopians who are under the thumb of the Italians.
yes, I know, but
well, actually, Eritrea is a completely different country.
Is it? Okay.
we walk like the Eritreas here.
I'm showing my like.
I'm role playing a drunk man. Give me a break.
Okay.
I was
Oh,
going to say, I'm going to look at Gary and say, hey, don't tar us all with his bro. Somebody's read the newspaper before we came.
Right. I don't think I want to attack you with guerrilla fighters as you head south.
Sorry,
No.
what?
Not
There's
yet.
an option for me to attack you with guerrillas.
okay.
But it
Wait.
says, in the event you're feeling cruel enough to.
Okay. So not Harambe coming back from the dead then?
No.
Well, he won't be born for another probably half century, if
Someone war in the future.
so.
Alright. So.
If you come back from the dead, then it doesn't really necessarily mean you have to come back from the dead. In the future, you can always do it in the past.
Alright,
That's
so
how
you.
time travel works. Sorry, Grant.
Oh, sorry, yawning. You spend several days heading south. Camel riding is not pleasant, and you will all move up one step on the heat tracker. So you're now
Desert.
in the desert. Heat 1.
Oh dear.
Why am I upside down?
The heat's got to you.
My bad.
So,
Oh, you are upside down. I was
so
wondering whose hat that was.
I'm going to copy this and paste it. This is the effects of the heat tracker.
Makes spins on
Oof.
what?
That's. I think they mixed up number 1, option 1, and option 6 there.
Significantly, the good advisor cannot make spins whatsoever, and further combines 2 or 3 above. Whoa.
Gray, is there an
No.
outdoorsman spend to reduce heat?
Not a spend. I think outdoorsman's a general skill, isn't it?
No, that's
No, it's technical.
It's actually technical.
Oh.
you can locate us. We can make sure that we don't fall off and get lost in the desert, and we can find a
Oh, that's the ride skill for that, making sure you don't fall off.
fall off the trail in the desert.
Okay. So yes, you trek through the heat. Sands everywhere, even in the gin.
No, not the gin.
Not the gin.
Yeah.
Does that mean Fortunato takes stability damage?
Yes.
Shouldn't have made a gin a pillar of stability.
You've got your full-on Lawrence of Arabia vibe going on at this point, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think many of you will survive this long in tweed suits.
No, we would not.
No.
Unless
probably
we are not that British to be wearing our tweeds even in the heat of a desert.
Most of us aren't British at all.
Alright, and outside Adua itself is a tiny little town. Outside it is a major military encampment.
How do we get into a major military encampment to ask?
That's what you have to figure out yourself.
Well, we
I
do
have
have
travel
travel
papers. And I'm Italian.
Right. But the guards will look at them. I'm sorry, sir, these will allow you to travel around the country, but they would not allow you into a military encampment.
I will ask the guard what we will need in order to gain access to the city itself.
Well, the city itself is, free to access.
But we need to get into the encampment to go talk to the guy. Ask
Yeah,
the guard. Ask the guard if he can pass the message along. Do I need to use another streetwise to bribe the guard for him to take a message?
Voice function in my head. If
That's
it's
an
in
option.
Italian-
Oh, how much is streetwise we're talking here?
It's
Another
just
point?
again, it's just general streetwise, but without Italian, it's 1 point.
I make the Italian gesture of money, slapping him in the face with money to do a thing.
Please do not slap the guard in the face, even with money.
Oh. Well, if you're looking for somebody, I'm sure we could give you directions.
Thank you. Yes.
Taren, your mic's picking up whatever you're whisking.
Sorry.
Yeah. Una. What's his name? Bartalo Acuna.
Oh, the Spaniard.
Yes.
Yes. He's not in the best moods. He looks at the time of day. He's probably not sober, but we can get you there. He's literally a watch check. He's like, no, he ain't gonna be sober this time of day.
Like, is it midday? I'm guessing, or perhaps even in the morning.
Yeah, it's probably like midday at best.
Yeah, well, maybe by the time we get to see him, he'll have dried out a little bit.
Oh, they quickly kind of like give you vague direction to the camp. This is not a heavily fortified camp. You know, this is the World War II Italians. You know, most of these guys are here because it sounded better than like whatever their jobs was back at home. They've got enough defences to stop an attack, but they're not really looking for spies or infiltrators, especially not any white people. Yeah.
Sensible.
If you were black, you'd probably get more harassed, but you're a bunch of white people in a camp. Most people just assume you're supposed to be here.
I mean, going
Legitimately
looking
is
for
Italian.
spies and saboteurs, you're just going to find some.
Yeah.
And then there's just paperwork all day.
And you find kind of a tent, which is surrounded by crates, packing crates and stuff like that. Tent flap's open, but you just see that no one's really paying attention to it.
I look through the flap. Can I see anything?
Yeah, there's a man sat at a desk, sheaf of paper, large half-empty bottle of alcohol.
Man after my own heart sips gin. I kid. Actually, I don't like the taste. Personally, don't like the taste of gin. What else do we have here instead of gin?
All right, I can always go and get some brandy, but I'd like to be sober by the time this session ends. I mean, at this point, I'm just sort of going to say, sorry, Mr. Acuna?
English? I wasn't expecting to hear English out here.
Well, I wasn't expecting to be here either, but it's a funny way this goes.
Come, take a seat. You're the most interesting people who've been here. This stupid division can't even move. Some bureaucrat has written the wrong orders, and here we sit for day after day. How am I supposed to get these treasures back to Rome and do my job if all I can do is sit here? Not like I can carry this many crates on my own, is it? And the thing that hits you from across here is the smell. He has got terrible breath. And it's mixed in with the alcohol he's drinking. You're just lucky this is a tent.
Like oral hygiene problems or
halitosis, yeah.
We're not talking.
Is he speaking English? Italian?
He is speaking English.
Okay.
He did work at UCLA, so yeah.
Fair point. Well, clearly, I mean, been a very busy man, I see. We've heard a lot about your work. You heading back to Italy, then?
Yes. I make these routes whenever the army advances and takes a area of historical interest. I come in, appraise the and make sure that anything is removed from this dangerous war zone and return to Rome for safekeeping.
It belongs in, yes, they belong in a museum. Safely
Yes.
curated. And
the Mussolini's pay me very well to make sure that it's an Italian museum.
Well, yes, you're a hard man to find. We've heard you have an interest in some of the more obscure gods of these heathen lands. Perhaps some like Gorath.
I think you're. I think it's not this guy. I think it's the other guy we're looking for. The 10-year-old guy.
Oh yes, no, yes. I've done some studies on some of the stranger gods of the area. There are so many ancient gods that are no longer worshipped. I was doing research in the area, but the funding drew up. I was forced to return to Spain. Spain, as you may have heard, was not one of the funnest areas to be.
No, not as of now, no.
And I then moved out. I agree with what Franco is doing, of course, don't get me wrong, but it is a little dangerous, and I'm not a man who sits through danger without making money. If I'm going to be in danger, I would rather be here making money.
And preserving historical artifacts.
Yes, preserving the artifacts, preserving them, yes. Right, any other questions? Pours himself another drink, drinks another drink, pours himself another drink.
I'm going to ask if he can put us in touch with our wayward professor, if he might happen to know where his whereabouts are, and I'm going to drop a hint that I may have some pull with the Italian military and may be able to get his historical artifacts back on track to Rome.
As? That's not the name I've heard in a while. Right, if you're trying to find him, I think the last people seen him were in the Dal village. Yeah, they worked for the CMC back during the dig, hauling salt for the railhead and the camels. We normally travel between the railhead and the dig for safety. And they used to, some of them even worked on the site with us, before the volcano.
Volcano?
Oh, you didn't hear? Yes, we were working on a very interesting dig, and we just breached an antechamber and found some ancient statue. A grotesque mouth carved out of some sort of rock we'd never seen before, not local to the area. It must have been quarried in brine fields or something like that, just there, a massive statue. When we just opened that, George and I were back at the railroad trying to sort out supply troubles. The railroad, for some reason, had taken a dislike to us, and there was an eruption that killed most of our crew and wiped the site out. I returned here to Spain, but George went back to see if he could salvage anything.
Yeah, I'm gonna assess honesty on that one and see if he's actually talking about an eruption.
Assess honesty says yes. He's actually telling the truth. He's shading the narrative to inflate his own importance, intelligence, but he's definitely telling you the truth. Yeah, it was a breathtaking coincidence. The whole place was burning down right after we managed to get into sight. Don't know what happened, but it doesn't really matter much why it happened. It's not like we pulled a lever or broke a magical steel or anything like that. With the mumbo jumbo. There's not really a geological explanation. It just happened.
Just bibbity bobbity, big old thingy happening.
Volcanic eruption, dust, lava, gas. I think the gas killed a lot of them. Yeah, quite a lot of the Dalal natives, all my Spanish and American labs. I say if George and I hadn't been off site, it would have been us as well, probably.
Okay, and could you point out on a map where exactly this site is in relation to Dalal?
Yes, 1 second. And he just kind of scrabbles around, he finds a napkin and starts scribbling on it.
Okay, so I have a few things in my brain that just came together. So like the gardener back in L.A. when he put a when he put a cross inside the maw's mouth to turn to stone, right? And this one right here had a pre-existing already stone maw, which probably was not a carved maw, but actually another maw that got stoned. What if it turned out that the things reacted to salt more than no wait oh no wait I'm wrong because the ones in Malta would have been of course been affected by salt water, right? Afflicted with salt water.
Yeah, they were next to the sea, so yeah.
Okay, so that was oh yeah, that's okay.
It's an interesting theory. Shame it's wrong.
Right then. So is this chap sober enough to draw us on a napkin where we're going?
Yeah, he's giving you like. So we've got the mountain, we've got the salt canyons where they mine, and then where we were was just to the south here. So the railway would be your best. Crossing from here would be torturous at best. You can do it, but it is straight desert.
It will put us probably 2 or 3 ticks up the heat tracker.
So you're best retracing your steps along the road, and then finding a passage down south. But once you get there, you'll be able to try and get the railway, would be my best guess. Although the railway owners are not the nicest people, the friendliest people.
War effort and everything.
Yeah. They're salt miners, all they care about is shipping salt. We were an annoyance at best to them.
What very salty people.
But
yes.
That was terrible, discard. Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyway, continuing on. So we either we go straight across the desert, or we go back and deal with salt miners.
Yeah, a desert that is part of a war zone, no less.
Indeed. I mean, arguing with salt miners is one thing. It's a lot easier to argue with a salt miner than it is an actual bunch of soldiers shooting each other.
I mean, we have yet to meet the salt miners.
Yeah, somewhere in the distance at the moment there's an explosion.
But it isn't that.
Salt miners sound pretty good right now to me.
Yeah. Just
Yes, I personally vote we head back, take a couple of days to cool off, and then head on the route we were originally planning and take the railroad.
Second. Agree.
All right, to the railroad.
All right.
Thank Mr. Acuna for his time as well. Actually, he's been a great help.
Yes, thank you. And
I'm going to be doing everything in my power that doesn't involve multiple point spends to get him back on his road.
Yeah, you can't do anything. You can't affect the military bureaucracy that's holding this up.
The bureaucracy is always expanding to meet the needs of the expanding bureaucracy.
If this was an old World War II war game, they haven't got enough water for their pasta.
Oh God, I actually know the one you're talking about when you say that. Oh, that makes me feel awful.
Which game is it?
Is it War in Africa?
War in Africa, yeah.
Yeah.
It's one of those that had to track stuff, and one of the things you had to track for the Italian troops is they needed an extra point of water because they're boiling their pasta.
Yeah,
it was in like the 60s. It wasn't terribly politically correct for those listening.
I mean, it's a fun joke.
No. It's very hard to justify pasta water unless you're doing tea water as well.
Yes, because they've actually shown that most of these people, most people just use the same amount of water. There was no difference in water. It was just for some reason they thought that was going to be something to make the Italians harder to use.
Yeah, but the tea water you drink, the pasta water you don't.
Unless they may use starchy water for something.
Always need to see salt.
Yeah, that was a board game specifically designed by a couple historians as an exercise to create the most difficult board game ever made.
My
Oh,
God,
that
they-
explains it.
Yep.
sorry.
People keep telling me I should play it.
Something,
Oh
something,
God,
something, something,
we
something,
should play it. You shouldn't be playing that solo. No man deserves that payoff.
something, something. But Monopoly exists.
Yeah. Anyway,
Playing Monopoly isn't difficult. Enjoying Monopoly is difficult.
you head back to Masona, and then spend a couple of days to drop your heat drop back down to 0.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so that's another 2
Feels like if we
days.
could do that.
It's hopefully there's not a secret like time tracker that's going in the background for this right now.
Probably
There's a
there
time
is.
tracker for everything going on.
I mean, there's a literal heat tracker. There probably will be a time tracker. It's just that Gray's got the wits to not tell us overtly there is.
First point on that heat tracker is just brutal, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose it at least sort of could be that if you say spend 10 minutes in a scene, you can then act for the rest of the scene. I guess.
You gotta fan
Oh, we're
yourself,
starting
get
with
iced
that's
tea.
good.
Sit under a fucking palm tree or whatever we have here in the equivalents.
Ignore the 12 a.m. bit, that's just me hitting the wrong side of the button.
Even back in Massa at this point, Frank has just back to the hotel.
Yeah. You return to the hotel, yeah, you can drop back down to 0, it's no problem. Are you heading to Mercer Fatma?
Yeah.
With Mercer
Yeah.
Fatma, we could take a boat to, I'm guessing. Along.
Yeah, yeah, you can just easily get the boat along. Alright, so it's no car storage. Yeah, no cost at all. That's Kata. Along the way, all history.
Yeah, I
Right.
have 1 point of that.
Yeah, that's fine. There's no maps, no comprehensive histories. Basically, it's just it's a city that no one's really done anything with yet. It's a port, and the Italians are loading arms and weapons in there. The port is by far the largest thing here. And it is a CMC complex. You know, literally the town is probably half the size of the CMC complex. So, you know, if Masura was where the military unload, this is where the salt miners unload.
Mm-hmm.
Economic.
The heart and soul of this land.
So,
Colonial minerals in my very pigeon Italian.
yep. The Colonial Mineral Company.
Finally, playing Hearts of Iron paid off.
Yeah. So you get from talking to like some of the other passengers that this place was nothing until about 1910, and then the CMC came in, decided it was a good port, and have just fueled the growth here.
just dumped money into it.
Yeah, they primarily mine potash. From in potash.
I just like remember what potash is.
Kind of like lye.
Pot like
Pot
so like
ash.
cleaning material, shit like that.
Yeah.
Potash.
Yeah,
So named because it's potassium based.
yeah. Potassium is basically and then they mine them inland at places like Dalal, and then ship them out here. So kind of this is
Oh wait, no, I have that backward. Potassium is derived from potash.
well, it's still got the thing.
What?
So it didn't really.
Potato, potasho.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's
You're welcome.
The next thing you notice as you get closer is most of it seems boarded up. When you point this out, it's kind of said that in 1929 potash was discovered in other places, and it made the African mining unprofitable. CMT mostly withdrew, leaving behind only a small staff to look after its assets, in case they ever came back. So kind of between when heirs arrived and now, the place has basically just become unprofitable.
Yeah, and it's pretty clear by the looks of it that 8 years they really haven't come back, have they?
No.
All right. So is the train station on CMC property then?
Yes.
Okay.
So we need to get a grand.
Yep. We're going to have to convince a bunch of not only salt miners, but also salt miners who are very much aware they probably won't have a job in a couple of years.
Salty salt miners, yes.
Yeah. Quite.
And I'm taking it they probably don't have a passenger car.
I think that's a pretty safe bet going forward, yeah. Still, let's see. Presumably the office is actually open, right?
Yep.
Or at least what passes for the officer.
So we kind of...
Yeah, I was going to say, also, Gato may be invited to go in first, given...
Yeah.
Yes.
So we need you to do your most eccentric Italian and acquire these people to allow us to charter one of their trains.
Great. I'll just walk in, explain that I'm a wandering geologist who would like to spend a moderate quantity of money to hire a train.
Or passage on a train.
So, as you enter
I want it to come back too.
You enter the spacious building, I would call it, and find that it is definitely being run by a skeleton crew. There are what looks like 6 people working here now. There's in the back room you can see, somebody working alone, but you're greeted by an Egyptian. Afternoon, gentlemen. This is in Italian, of course. I am Zenhuja. Okay.
Good afternoon. I would like to hire one of your trains.
Hire a train?
Yes.
I'm sorry, but we do not generally hire out our trains for pleasure trips. You know, our trains are.
I'm on business.
CMC business?
Unfortunately, not as of yet. Depending on exactly how my business goes, there may be increased interest in this area. Is there a geology spend I can spend on this?
No. Oh, actually, no, not a spend.
I have a geology.
Geology tells you that this area is tectonically active. There we go. I can talk tonight. I am sorry. My stammer is back. Yeah, the area is tectonically active.
I mean, there was an eruption. Yeah. I would expect that.
Yes. So, where would you be attempting to access?
Well, I will need to head nearly to Dalal. Most likely, I will be continuing the journey to Dalal and heading out to investigate the areas I will be investigating.
Dalal. Oh yes, it's over 50 miles south of here. There's only like 24 souls there.
Quite. It is a way station which makes an adequate point of stop on my way to where I am going. You see now why I wish to take a train.
Well, the train wouldn't get you there. The train would probably get you to Cthulhu. After that, there's no road. There are a few camel tracks, but the sands move so much. It's part of the reason this place was abandoned. Although the potash is easy to get to, shipping it is a nightmare.
Well, if they can get closer, that's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Can we load the camels onto the train?
I'm hoping to pick them up at Dalal.
Or Cthulhu.
Or Cthulhu. Cthulhu can work.
Oh, then. But they're not immediately rejecting it, but how much of a spin is this going to take?
Alright, that's the heat. There we go.
I am willing to spend flattery or reassurance, and
I'm
also
sure-
credit rating.
You can offer cop talk, but I don't think it's going to help.
I'm not willing to spend cop
Well-
talk. It won't help.
See, I will be able to arrange an interview with my employer, Mr. Sengini. I'll have to check if he's not busy. You can blatantly see from back here he's playing cards. He's playing solitaire.
I will give him a jaunty Italian wave.
Yeah. And he'll go in and mutter, and, you know, you'll see you'll be brought in. Yes. Gentlemen. It's nice to see someone from the rough country this far down south.
Business needs, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure how much I can help you. I am a company man. But for now, I could probably arrange a meal for tonight. If you would like to join me and my wives.
That would be marvelous.
Excellent.
Is what?
His wives.
Multiple. I see.
Yes.
When in Rome.
And he'll kind of like shout out at Sinu, and he'll go, "Tell, go. Tell my wife that to prepare a meal. We'll have guests tonight. Guests from the old country." And he'll stand up. He's wearing kind of local garb, and you kind of get the feeling that he's
Gone native.
He's not. Yes, he's gone native. He's not quite Hearts of Darkness, but he's going that way. You know, he is the only Italian here. Everyone else, he's got an Egyptian aide, and everyone else is locals by the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
And you get the feeling that the way he strides through, he's very much used to being like the king whose this will domain, even though it is a shuttered up backwater that's only being kept running because it might be useful in the future. It's better to pay a few people to maintain it than it is to try and rebuild it in 10 years' time.
But essentially, this man is the current king of this current Pupu Mountain.
Yes, very much so.
Chief of the Anthill.
He's the big fish in a small pond. Yes, we are actually busier than you expect these days. There's always looters to run off. We've got to, maintain some of the buildings, make sure there's no root leaks, stuff like that. We generally have to maintain a good relationship with the locals as well. And animals, there's always the animals. You think the squatters and looters are bad, the animals will get in there and start building nests. And, yeah. But, yes. Come, join me. And he'll lead you off to his house. It's a large, local-style dwelling. Plush on the outside, as they tend to be quite bare, but inside very plushly decorated. Like more children than you can count run around you as you enter, shouting questions in a mix of Italian and Arabic. You can see 3 local women who are trying to herd them and shouting orders and interacting.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll kind of bid you to sit on the floor, and you'll all move around, and food will be brought out to you. Because culturally, of course, you will eat first, and then the women and children will eat later.
That's how I'll go here.
Yeah. So, what brings you to the region?
Business.
Business? What type of business? Something profitable, I hope.
That is my employer's hope as well. I'm acting as an agent for an up-and-coming company who is hoping to partner with, the CMC to exploit some minerals we suspect may have been unearthed during the eruption that occurred a few years back. Yeah, I'm certain you recall it.
Yes. Cigarette?
Thank you.
They're Italian, by the way.
Of course they're Italian.
Yeah. He starts fanning himself to stay cool in the heat. Yes. So, would this company be looking to expand its own facilities, or partnering with a other established company?
The hope is that the company of which I currently am an agent will be able to charter, as it were, or contract out to the CMC directly in exploiting these resources.
Oh.
I figure the chiefs are basically considering why build a second when there's already perfectly good infrastructure here that just needs a bit of a polish to get up and running again. Unfortunately, I do need to be on site at the location in order to confirm that it will be exactly what we're looking for. And then, of course, we will need to extend the rail line if at all possible. But that's something that can be dealt with by the engineers and the bean counters, nothing men of consequence like yourself and I need to worry about.
You say that. Unfortunately, there is the local Afar, a local tribe. They have been making things trouble. They were part of the reason that the place was shut down and mothballed. Although there was cheaper, we were still producing a decent amount. Their raids on the railway lines made issues.
I see.
Yeah.
The rail line is intact.
Yes, we maintain the rail line. That is one of our main jobs, and we really haven't had that many trouble since we moved out. To be honest, most of the trouble was back with that dig.
So we might have to deal with angry locals, tribe angry locals,
sitting exactly where we want to go and look.
Didn't you just love it when that happens? How are we supposed to unearth horrible mysteries of time and God and space if a tribe of know-it-all locals are going to be standing in the way?
Re-earth. We're re-earthing it. We don't want it to come out.
Well, they would be the one trying to re-earth it. I mean, the whole expeditional thing would be us unearthing it.
Oh, my good man. It would be very useful if there were any witnesses of that particular eruption. I don't suppose anyone who was there when it happened, would happen to be around.
No, we didn't have anyone in the locale. We have a few people who cleaned up afterwards, but it was mainly centered around the dig, and it wiped them out pretty much. I think only a few survived, and none really at the main dig site.
Terrible tragedy.
Yes. They were doing good work, but their attitudes, they tended to treat us, rather than us doing them a favour, they tended to see it as, they're right. The man in charge, Ayers? No, whatever. He was an American, and he was very much attempting to push. He believes that we should be working for him, not for the CMC, and we at the CMC are not the type of people to be allowed to pushed around like that.
Academics thinking the world owes them a favor just because they have a piece of paper with their name on it.
Yes. But after that, once the eruption, they just moved on, went on to do other work. Those who survived,
I see.
and we carried on for several years. The eruption did interfere with the our kind of like production. It was far enough away from the potash mines that there was no problem. It's about 3 miles of travel from Iron Point.
Well then, so we just gotta do is contend. So, but the local, so you contend with angry locals. We're going on the way down there.
Mm-hmm. Still, you say this Ares person, he survived the eruption?
Yes, him and his the 2 direct leaders were having an argument with my predecessor.
Ah, I
And-
see. I don't suppose you would happen to know where I could track him down. He, as a surviving witness, he would be incredibly useful if there was any information, and it won't be the first time I've dealt with academics, that's for sure.
No, I think he stayed in country. I know the Spaniard left. Because he was pretty much on the first train out. But the American apparently stayed. I don't think anything was seen of him since then. But he was heading back towards Dalal and the site, so maybe the locals saw more of him.
Well, it would all depend right now as if we can actually get used to this train, or we'll have to deal with a lot of more camel.
Alright, you're moving 1 up the heat track anyway.
We're going to 1 or going up 1?
You're going up to 1.
Okay.
So we stayed over in
Yeah.
Mercer thingy.
Mr. Fatma.
That's the one. Thank you.
Why is it so hot?
Oh, you think this is bad? Wait till you get a bit further south.
It gets hotter?
It
Oh,
doesn't
yes.
get really bad until August.
It is the end of
Day at the
July.
end. Yeah, I was going to say, like the last dying days of July.
Right, which means we've got about a week before it gets really bad.
Like a bit of time pressure.
Why did we come here at this point in time again?
Because
None
we
of us
just
looked at a
literally left
calendar.
Malta. We just basically went straight from Malta, just going, next thing to do.
It was closest.
Yeah.
And none of us looked at a calendar.
No. Let's look at a calendar.
We didn't know that Pelgrim was going to afflict us with weather problems.
So, you're wanting to head south then?
Yes.
Excellent. I may be able to arrange a seat or 2 on the next train. It would
That
not
would
be
be
comfortable. We still run the train south, running supplies to coal and places like that. Partially to keep the towns going, and partially so we can run like checks on the track and keep the engines running. You don't want these things seizing up in storage. It won't be comfortable, but it'll get you there most of the way. Once you reach there, we call it Iron Point. Is it our sidings? You'll have to find your own way from there to the Dollar village. Or the dig, whichever you wish to attend.
Well, my crew is fairly resourceful. I think we'll manage to make it.
Excellent. But yes, keep me informed.
Of course.
And of course, remember me and how helpful I've been.
Naturally.
I've been a capable,
Indispensable.
a capable administrator in my eyes. I would love to increase my challenge. And the rest of the night we'll go with small talk and chat. The meal is passable.
Is it shawarma, or what kind of meal are we talking here?
I don't know. Local.
Named meat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It is
it's
neat.
going to be whatever's local, I presume. I can only assume, however, that it probably won't be shawarma.
Whatever it is, I've had worse.
It's definitely had worse. It's well cooked. It's just kind of basic food.
It could be fish of some sort, hopefully.
Alright, so a day passes. You wake up the next morning.
And the Eye of Cthulhu is looking at it from the sky. We failed.
No, you've got at least 2 weeks before that happens.
Oh, good. At least you know. There's the time limit we were looking for.
Eye of Cthulhu, eh? He's got good drops.
Yes. Everyone's got enough armor, haven't they?
Yes.
So there's a game, Gray. I don't know if you've looked it up yet. There's a game called World of Horror, which is a roguelike game basically dealing with fucking Cthulhu, a cosmic horror as bullshit, and trying to stop it. And this basically has a doom counter for how close the doom is. So
No, I heard of that one.
we'll give it a look. It's actually a pretty good monopixel. It's a very good monopixel game. It does everything in various shades, and it's very good. It's very good art and all that stuff.
Alright. Anyway. So, you have sought access to the railway line.
Mm-hmm.
And it's 50 degrees. It's 50 miles, but it's probably also about 50 degrees.
That would be cold. Very
If
cold.
only it got colder. No, centigrade. If
Centigrade.
only it got colder if the miles decreased. It will be the opposite.
See, Serpentis, I read that I should have perhaps had mobile dysentery.
What?
Oh! No, if you don't have the distillery, you end up with the dysentery.
Thank you, Gray. That's a mental image I didn't know I needed.
Wait, that sounds like a bad. Sounds like a bad freaking Starship Troopers joke that they're the mobile dysentery.
I was just going to say, you do know what you call a mobile dysentery. A regiment on the march.
Yeah. So, you board the train.
It is uncomfortable.
It is uncomfortable. It's a heavy train. It's well manufactured, but it's poorly maintained. Thankfully, it's not hauling minerals. You're most of the cargo. But even then, 50 miles takes most of the day. You start in the morning, and it's growing dark by the time you're around your gully at Iron Point.
Did Bruce pack sandwiches?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
They're a little
man.
wilted, but that happens. He had to use local bread.
So flats. So they're more like wraps.
No, they're definitely sandwiches. They're just thinner.
Alright, so trapped inside the cars, just the heat builds, and you're up to heat level 2 now.
No windows?
There are windows, but it doesn't really help. Someone decided to make the top of this thing out of metal.
Oh.
Probably because it's quite robust when it gets hit.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the company colors are black and hotter black.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Black, dare we say.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think we dare.
Alright, and about halfway there, the train suffers a breakdown.
Because of course it does.
Yeah. So
I'm going to see if Bruce can use my 6 points of mechanical repair to help get this thing back up and running.
I pull from my sack of water gin. My water skin full of water gin.
water's gin or water gin.
Gin, watered down.
Yeah. My sack, which is as much water as gin. Mostly because I was saying water skin poorly.
Right, so we have a mechanical repair check.
Yeah, I can do that.
We call forth fucking Henry from the ether.
No, I have mechanical repair. 6 points. I'll spend 4 of them.
Oh yeah, you're right. You
I'll
like
spend
working
10 minutes first to gather myself because
Yeah.
heat. Let's see,
Everyone
this
breaks
isn't
up the fan. Everyone breaks up the fan, surrounds Gato, and uses it on them.
You lucky bugger.
Mm?
quite.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, it was a difficulty 8 test.
Yay!
I almost spent 3 points.
Which, of course, is a difficulty 9 test because you've got heat problems.
Of course.
So you just made it.
Almost spent 3 points for symmetry, but no, I spent 4 points for evenness.
And the mathematical art of point spending.
Right, you've
The
all
universe
gained.
likes some numbers.
Right, you gain extra heat for working in the out there.
Ugh,
Working in the heat gets you heat.
Is that all of us, or is that just Gatto?
Just
me.
Gato, because the rest of you can take some shade, but he's got to be out there working on a hot engine.
He's working on a hot engine, head first in a hot engine, sleeves rolled up, sweating profusely.
Sitting in a lounge chair with a drink. Have you tried jimmering that thingy over there? No, the other one. That's one. Yes, it's stuck. Doesn't really cut it.
Yes. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, this is very much a desert that lacks fruity alcoholic beverages.
Alright, so you get the train working,
Fortunately, Mike.
and you pull in just as it's getting dark.
This place needs civilization.
Alright, Koi, however you're supposed to pronounce it. Oh, yeah, note for anyone writing RPGs. If you're putting names in, put the phonetic, there we go, I can't even say that. Spelling in, please. Just, I mean, 90% of fantasy RPGs should do this as well.
Also, remember to put your phonetics, the phonetic spelling of phonetic in there as well.
Fantasy needs it more than alt history. You
Yeah.
can always just Google the pronunciation of stuff.
Yeah.
If it's real, Google Translate will even tell you how it sounds.
Or you could just check Wikipedia.
Right. So, you arrive in and there's a bunch of villagers standing there to watch the train's arrival.
I heard that was train survival for a second.
Arrival, yeah.
Both are true.
So the adults remain at the village, but a lot of the children run closer. Not the kind of like the driver will kind of tell you. Actually, you won't be able to communicate with the driver because he's not going to be actually only speak
Again,
Arabic.
He's not going to speak Italian.
Yeah. No,
We
None of you
do-
guys speak.
he will motion for you to get off.
I will give him the universal thumbs up.
That
That's
is not
actually
universal.
Yes, that needs something completely different in Arabic countries.
I will believe that. I
Wait,
will give
you
him
mean you're handing him a £5 note?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not that you want to do something rather rude to his behind, which is what it actually means down there.
Mm-hmm.
What, really?
Yes.
I swear to
Yes.
God, you were
There's
not
no
using
such
your
thing
left
as a universal hand gesture, except possibly punching someone in the face.
Even then, we don't. Even then,
even then, if you go to Glasgow, that means something very different.
Yeah.
that's a greeting in Glasgow.
That's morning.
Like I said, possibly. I wasn't 100%.
All right, so I tip him a $5 of my streetwise money.
Yeah, that's fine. That type of cash isn't really needed. Okay, so it's getting dark. Discard is tired.
I am very tired.
He's not the only one.
Yeah.
Closing in on the end anyway.
Yeah, I think I know it'll be a bit of a short session because I was running late to start. My fault for
fine.
once.
This is a good
It's my
break
fault.
point.
Yeah.
But we're here. We're about to make the trek towards the investigation side of this place. which may or may not be full of either A, mouths, or B, not cannibals, tentacles or whatever.
No, it's full of natives who are trying to stop us from waking up the mouths, not realizing that that's already happened and we're trying to stop them.
Or more
Cool.
likely that the entire crater is just one giant mouth.
The problem you're going to have before we sign
Dang
off
it, Pittsburgh.
is that, where are you going to sleep tonight?
Where is there to sleep? Okay, so
There's no hotel.
This is
Gray,
like
would it be a preparedness spend to have hired a translator back in MF?
Yes.
I will
And
spend.
Preparedness spend to have gotten camping gear.
I will spend 3 preparedness.
so there is something about how much that costs to get a guide.
Oh, okay.
We
So that
have
would probably be credit rating.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have
points
got
points
the
better credit rating.
cost as well.
Done.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna care. Just straight up done.
not even
Having a
going to hell.
translator is when you're heading into the strange unknowns is a requirement.
All right, so we're going to have a bargain point spent.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, that'd be 2 points. So remember, because
Bargain is a skill.
actually no, it's just one. It's just 1 point. Yeah, because you have just like. Actually no, it won't actually. Now you've got yourself a translator. Won't be a point spent. That's fine.
Yeah, 1 point spend for translator or just to get a translator.
Well, no, we already spent to get the translator.
Okay then. So I will spend my bargain for, even though I cannot understand what these people are saying. I know one thing.
You don't
and
need
that's
to spend.
Okay, I don't.
You got a translator. You don't need to spend while the translator's present.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just saving you
I've
points.
hired. The translator works for Bruce, by the way.
Yeah, so Bruce is translating, and then he's translating from the translation into Italian.
All we know that Bruce translate what you're saying to interpretive dance.
Bruce doesn't speak that.
Yeah. All right, and yeah, you'll bed down for the night, and it'll be the 30th tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Where's
At the locally famous No Bugs Hotel.
Yeah. It's kind of like a guest house. It's an empty-ish house that they've managed to find for you. They don't really have visitors. The translator says that this is the first train that's properly stopped here in about a decade. So they run the trains round, but then they just basically just run them back again afterwards. No one actually gets off.
There's nothing really to get to is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the end of the line. They don't tend to come down to the end of the line that often. But yeah, you'll be given some meagre food and a kind of shoddy room, and yeah, time to sleep it off. So yeah, thanks for everyone who's been watching. I will hopefully put out a kind of ahead of time thing for the next one, because this week I didn't know what time I'd be able to get free. So hopefully going forth we'll be a bit more organised. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed it.
Wait, are people actually listening to us do this?
Yeah, we've got 4 people.
Holy
Ray's been
hell!
streaming them for a couple of sessions now.
Yeah.
We actually
Fair
have
enough.
a live audience.
Yeah. It's only
Even
4
if it's
people,
very-
but yeah, from little icons.
I mean, that is like
And
people
4
taking it to family every day.
Yeah, 4 people when I didn't actually advertise this is pretty damn good in my book.
as a relatively niche
Yeah.
YouTuber.
Alright, see everyone next time.